Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about the success that our group has recently had adding a fantastic players tool, actually game aid, to our Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign. And I wanted to encourage you, you might want to pick up this game aid so you could do the same in one of your campaigns, right? All right, so let's talk about it. All right, so what is this game aid? Well, first of all, I'm running a straight Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Explorer's Guides to Wildemount campaign. And if you're not aware of that, that happens in Exandria, which is Critical Role's, the world that Critical Role's Mighty Nine actually explores in, right? Or adventures in. And Explorer's Guide to Wildemount was an official Dungeons & Dragons source book for that area. So I have two players, Reggie and Norm, and and actually Reggie talks a lot with me after the games, and really asks about elements of the game, and I make sure to keep the veil up for whatever is has not been shown to his player character, and he's a huge D&D head, so we'll discuss, right? And it came out that he likes to say what he likes about the game and what he doesn't like. I'm very fortunate. Normally you have to kind of pry that out of your players. But he said he wished the game had. The only thing he didn't like about Exandria is that dragons weren't more prominent in the setting, right? So I recently came across a bicycle playing card deck that I immediately incorporated into our Explorer's Guide to Wildemount campaign based on what that deck is, and I'll explain what it is right now. So I got this. I've started collecting bicycle card decks, and I came across this deck for $4 shipped with Prime. Couldn't believe how cheap it was. So, and I'm telling, that's what I got it for like 2 weeks ago. It still might be available at that cost. If you're a Dungeons & Dragons player, a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition player, I highly recommend picking up this deck, because I think you might be able to use it in one of your games the same way I'm using this in my game right now. So basically, the deck is Age of Dragons by Stokes. It's a really amazingly, incredibly well executed traditional 52 card deck with a black joker and a red joker, right? And it's just it's a really brilliant, beautiful card deck, right? A traditional 52 card deck, right? But it's very clear that it was created, in my opinion, with Dungeons & Dragons themes in mind, right? Now, it totally makes sense. I mean, Dungeons & Dragons doesn't have a copyright on dragons, right? So this is a Dragons deck. It's not a Dungeons & Dragons game. It's not an official Dungeons & Dragons gaming aid, but it's better than a lot of Dungeons & Dragons gaming aids I've seen put out by third party and even by Wizards of the Coast itself. Not because Wizards of the Coast isn't making high quality gaming aids, just not all the gaming aids they make are for me and my style of game, right? But this has really been tremendous. So $4 deck, I added it into the game, and how are we using this deck right now? Well, what I'm using it to is to inject more dragons into the game, specifically for Reggie. So what I said was, so in our Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, just like the setting actually explains, war is breaking out between the Monster Kingdom, the Main Kingdom, and the Merchant Kingdom, all right? So let me explain those, right? So first of all, Monster Kingdom has an asterisk. Monstrous Kingdom, excuse me. The Monstrous Kingdom has an asterisk next to it. So the Monstrous Kingdom is over to the west, and it is it's a drow kingdom where the drow really give aid to any heritages that have monstrous ancestry, right? So bugbear, half orcs, bugbears, minotaurs, tieflings, really like maybe even tabaxi, right? Specifically heritages that maybe humans, dwarves, and elves might say that has a monstrous ancestry, okay? So the Monstrous Kingdom. The Merchant Kingdom is to the south, and that's like a big Pirate Bay kind of big trader kingdom, and they're very small, and they're not nearly as strong as the Monstrous Kingdom or the main kingdom. And last is the main kingdom. I really love this aspect of this triple kingdom setup that Matthew Mercer created, the Monsters Kingdom, the main kingdom, and the Merchant Kingdom. The merchants are just really trying to continue to do business, right? Which is really interesting. And then the Monsters Kingdom really cares about, helping anyone who has monstrous ancestry. And then the main kingdom is really fascinating. It is a meld of human, dwarven, and elven heritages, right? So they have peace in the main kingdom under a human king, right? But recently there has been a war that has broken out between the Monsters Kingdom and the main kingdom, right? So with that said, I have declared in our game that the fighting has expanded into the mountain ranges, right? In both the Monsters region and in the main kingdom, and even in the Merchant Kingdom. There are now explorers going down there to find dragon eggs and dragon wormlings in the Merchant Kingdom, right? And so basically war has essentially disturbed the dragon community, right? There are people who are searching for dragon eggs specifically for powerful spells to use in the war. There are adventurers and criminals and villains looking for dragon wormlings, young dragons, to use again as spell components, or to be sold for value, right? Because they're incredibly valuable. Same with and so essentially dragon wormlings and dragon eggs are either being used for spell components, gathered to be used by powerful wizards for spell components, all driven by the war, or they're being used as a powerful currency, a way to, and actually dragon eggs, both dragon eggs and dragon wormlings are worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of gold, right? And so it's a way to just be able to make your money much more portable, which is exactly what Dungeons and Dragons does with gems, right? So all this is going forward, right? And so basically, I've said that there's a new prominence of dragon eggs, dragon wormlings, and adult dragons, because they're all being roosted out by the war itself, or they're being pursued as there's a renewed interest in capturing these specific draconic elements, right? Whether it's a dragon egg, a dragon wormling, or an adult dragon. So it's really pretty incredible, right? And so we added this in. So how am I using the deck? Well, the deck is absolutely brilliant. So in the game, in the deck, 2s, 3s, and 4s are all dragon eggs, right? Of every suit. And then 4, 5s, and 6 are 4, 5s, and 6s are specifically what are they again? Oh yeah, they are dragon wormlings, and then 7, 8, and 9 are all adult dragons, right? So what I've been doing is 3 times per game, whenever whenever Reggie or Norm interact with an NPC and they are not discussing what they're currently on. So if they go into a tavern, if they run across a tinkerer, if they kind of run across a woodcutter, if they're just out and they see other adventurers, everybody is now talking about dragons, right? They're talking about dragon eggs, dragon wormlings, and adult dragons. And the reason why is because these things are being seen again. They're being traded. They're being hunted, right? And so everybody's got, a rumor, right? And so when they interact with that, they get to draw from this Age of Dragons deck, which was done by the artist Ann Stokes. Amazing deck. $4. Cannot recommend it highly enough. And basically they get to draw, and then when they draw that, they can use that at any time. They can burn it, right, for inspiration, right? So they can always do that. Any of the cards can immediately be burned for inspiration, or they can keep them, and when they get four cards of the same denomination, so three, all 4 3s in the set, they can turn that in, and actually the way it works is we'll use the dragon egg, right? But it works the same with the dragon wormling and with the adult dragon. So 1 is simply a rumor of where a dragon egg is, okay? 2 is a confirmation of where a dragon egg was previously, right? 3 is a confirmation of a actual current location, and 4 is proximity, right? It is actually the players being able to make an action in the proximity of the dragon egg, right? Whether they give the location to someone or allow someone to go to that proximity is up to them, or if they claim that proximity themselves, so they can take an action to specifically get the dragon egg themselves, and they'll be in position to take action on that draconic element, whether it's an egg, a wormling, or an adult dragon, right? And in addition to that, once they have all 4, they can. I'm sorry. Yeah. So they can actually go to the location if they have all 4, right? Now, if they get a complete set of any face card, right, that has a matching draconic element from 10 through ace, right, and they get a complete set of those as well, they can have a narrative success. They don't even have to play out gathering the egg, the wormling, or the adult dragon. And yes, that is for it's a good campaign. So they're collecting eggs, they're collecting wormlings. For the adult dragons, a narrative success is defeating it, right? Actually going into combat and defeating it, or capturing it, or convincing it to help them. Any of those 3, right? So if they get all 4 of the the dragon cards in one denomination, they can get in proximity and be in proximity to take action on that draconic element, whether it is egg, wormling, or adult dragon. And then if they get any 4 player cards as well, any 4 face cards, a matching set of 4 face cards, then they can simply have a narrative success, which means they don't have to go through combat, they don't actually have to play it through, and I simply declare how they either come into possession of a dragon egg or a dragon wormling, or defeat, whether that is capturing, persuading, or actually defeating in combat, an adult dragon, right? And that last one, if that sounds strange to you, remember, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition allows the Dungeon Master to add in additional elements to the game whenever they wish, which I really find wonderful. So that's how we're using the Ann Stokes Age of Dragons official bicycle card playing deck in Dungeons & Dragons. It's worked fantastically. I absolutely suggest you grab one of these for yourself or more at $4. Come on, I think I'm about to order more of these decks, but I really can't recommend it enough. So that's how I'm currently using these in my game. How about you? Are there any game tools that you've recently added into your game that has made it better? I'd love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.